Hi everyone. In the first video we talk about how to Dockerize an application. In this one I want to show you how to deploy it using AWS and Docker Hub. Again we will be working on some Django application. I will be making some modifications on it. Then I will be basically creating an Docker file, creating an image, and using that image to deploy an application. So let's get started. First, I'm going to create a folder, and again, I will be using Visual Studio Code. I'm going to create a, a virtual environment, and then I'm going to activate it as follows. Right now, we are in the environment. Let's install Django. And I will be using this command to create our first application. Um, Again, name of our app is going to be app, basically. So it creates manage.py and also another folder called app. And this time we will be modifying some of the files here. So let us cd into app and freeze the requirements. So first things first, let us create two folders this time. My first folder is going to be called static, and I will be putting my image, the image of my cat, inside the folder. And the next folder is going to be templates. I will be using this folder to essentially store the HTML template that I'm going to use. So in order for Django to locate these folders, I have to make some modifications in our settings. First of all, I'm going to add my app to the installed apps. Since the name of my application is app, I'm simply putting app here. And I also add my templates folder to the templates constant. I'm going to add actually the relative path of my templates to here. So first I have to provide the name of the app and then a dot and the name of the folder, app.templates. But additionally, you may have to modify your static URL as well in order for it to be used static. But most of the time by default it's static, so we don't have to change that. Lastly, I have to change the allowed hosts here because after running my application in remote server and when I try to access to it using the URL or using the IP provided by instance, it's going to give me an error about the host because I will be using a very different host and Django doesn't know that. And in order to fix that, the easiest solution is just put a star like this so that it's essentially allows all hosts. Let me actually change the URL as well. So let us create a folder, a file called views.py. And views.py is going to be used to store our roots. In our case, we are going to have just one root. Let me copy paste my root from here. So essentially, I'm creating a dictionary and my key is image path and the value is the path of the image. I don't have to provide static here because Django already knows that if there is this static content, it's going to check the folder called static, and it's going to return the template, rendering it and putting the context. So what is going to be the content of my template? Let us create our HTML template here. Let us take the template from here. Sorry. Okay. So basically, we have title and headers. So these are just text to be displayed on the web page. And I have image section here. I'm taking a static content, and the name of the content is going to be image path. And I also width and height. I also have some styling so that my image is properly displayed in the center. So okay, so I have added my views.py. I'm going to modify my URLs as well. Right now there is just one root, It basically redirects me to the admin panel. I'm not going to change that, but I'm going to import my views first of all. Then I'm going to create another path. And I don't want to put anything here because I want my page to be the very first page when I open my application without any further redirection. I'm going to add my views dot my view, and I also can add the name of the view, like um, name my view. Okay, so I think we can right now run our application python manage.py run server. So let us go to the application. Okay, as you can see, it works properly. Right now it's working on my local machine and bind to the local host and 8000. In the next step, I will be creating a Docker file, and then I will be creating a Docker image so that we can use it for our deployments. Our Docker file is going to be exactly the same as we used in the previous video. So let me create a new file here called Docker file, and let me just copy the code that we have used. Basically, I'm at the very first stage. I'm pulling the image Python with the tag 3.8 slimbuster, and I'm setting my working directory to be app. I'm copying everything, and I'm then running the installing the requirements, and also I'm installing tkdev, and I'm running the commands so that my program works properly in the container. So let's create our image. In order to create our image, we were using the command docker build. I'm going to provide a tag, and first part is going to be the name of my repository. This time we will be using Docker Hub. So in order to push our image to a remote place, like what we are using, like what we are doing in GitHub repository, I have to provide my username first. So ustashifu, and then slash the name of my, actually, the whatever the name that I want to use as a repository name. And in this case, I want to use Django App. I can provide version as well, like follows, but it is not really necessary in this case. And I'm also putting a dot so that it looks for the Docker files in the working directory. Okay, we created our image. We can list all the images we have using the docker image ls command. And as you can see, the name of the repository is ustashifu Django app. And we are using the tag latest, which is the default tag if we don't provide any version. So right now we are expected to actually push our image to the Docker Hub. And in order to do that, we have to have a Docker Hub account. So if you don't have an account, you can just go to the website and click on the the sign up section that you are going to see. In my case, I'm already signed in, and after signing in, you have to log in to the Docker using your command line. So let me run the command docker login. It's going to ask for the credentials, username and password. Let me provide them. After signing in, you will also be able to see your images in the hub. Right now, I don't have any image, but I'm going to push one. So let's push this image to the hub, which is essentially the repository of images. So let me use the command docker push, and the name of my image is the repository name of my image is ustashifu Django app. This procedure may take some time, so after that we can continue. Okay, so it took some time to push the image to the remote, but right now it should be ready. So you can actually look at your hub from here. As you see, the first section is for local. So this is the image that we have created in our local machine, and this is going to be the image that we have pushed to the remote, to the Docker Hub actually. So we can click on the view in hub, and it redirects me to the website. So as you can see, this is the repository that I created, and the tag of it is latest. And I can also pull this image using this command, which is the command that I'm going to use for the deployment. Right now, I'm going to create an Amazon EC2 instance. Then I will be using this image to deploy our application. So search for Amazon EC2 on Google and click on this link. Get started with Amazon EC2. You also have to provide your credentials to log in. I'm already signed in, and I'm going to launch a new instance from here. You can name your instance. Let's say it's CmpE352, and I'm going to be using Amazon Linux, free tier eligible. We don't really have to change any settings from here, and most of the time we are restricted to use them because the other ones are like they require some payments. Essentially, we have like 8 GB memory, and I will be using SSH for the connection. Um, but apart from that, I have to also provide a new key pair. So let me provide a new one. I'm going to be using the configuration RSA and .pem. So my key pair name is going to be, let's say, CmpE352, basically. So it provides me with a file with the extension .pem. Let us create our instance. Let me first create a folder called .ssh from maybe from here .ssh, and let me take this one and put it to here. Okay, so let me launch the instance. There are different ways to connect your instance, and again I will be using actually Visual Studio Code and the Remote Explorer extension. So it suggests that our instance is running. Let me view all my instance. It took some time for our instance to start running. Before proceeding with the next step, creating SSH connection, let's first create a connection from here. So in order to do that, just click on the instance ID first, then click on the connect section, and you can easily connect your instance from here. So just let's go to the terminal, run some commands. We are in the folder called EC2 user. Let me go back from this folder, print working directory. Right now I'm at home, ls, and let me go back. Okay, so it seems to be working. Next step is to creating our SSH connection from Visual Studio. In order to do that, I actually have to have two files, .pem file and also a config file. So let's just create a config file here, and the content of our file is going to be like this. Let me copy paste it here. So host is AVC EC2, which is going to be the same for you, and host name is the public ID. Let me take my public ID. Let me first create my close my connection from here and copy the public ID, paste it here. Okay, and my username is EC2 user, and my identity file is going to be the absolute path of my .pem file. Essentially, let's just reveal in File Explorer and take the absolute path of this file. Properties, copy this one, and come over here, paste it, and also don't forget to add the name of the file as well. So in order for Visual Studio to be able to locate the location of the config, we have to actually change the settings. So I'm using the shortcut Ctrl-Shift-P, and I have to go to the OpenSSH configuration file. When you click on it, most probably you are going to be seeing such things because these are the locations of the config files by default, but I'm going to change that. So let's just go to settings. And let me take the the absolute path of config and paste it here. And again, I will be providing the name. So okay, it is good to go now. I'm going to Remote Explorer, and I'm saying actually I can use the shortcut as well for this. Just Ctrl-Shift-P again, but this time you should use connect to host. And you should be using the AVS EC2, which is the name of the host. If everything is done properly, we should be able to actually connect to our instance. Yeah, okay, so the remote, let me just create a terminal first and make sure that it is our instance. Okay, so I think we are at the correct position. Okay, right now we are in our server and we have to use our image, which we push to our Docker hub. But the problem is that most probably we don't have Docker yet in our remote server. So let me install Docker. Most probably your instance also is going to be using the yum package. So first, let me just paste this command and search for Docker if it's available. Okay, so it seems to be available. Right now I'm going to install Docker sudo yum install, the command that I'm going to use for that. Yeah, we are saying yes to that. So it installs all the necessary packages. After installing Docker, let's run the Docker version command to make sure that it's installed properly. Okay, right now I'm going to actually start our Docker daemon, and in order to do that, I have to use sudo command because of the user permission. Most probably, it's not going to let me use the Docker engine. You can actually solve that problem by just creating a user group with the right permissions, but using sudo, just another way around to solve this problem. I will be using sudo for that. Let me actually take the command to run the service. Right now my Docker is running and I'm going to pull the image from Docker Hub. Let me just go to Docker Hub and copy the command, paste it here. Again, I will be providing the sudo so that I don't encounter with any permission problem. I'm pulling the image right now. And after pulling the image, I will be creating a Docker container. Okay, let's first list our images. Let's first list our images using sudo. As you can see, I have the repository name and the tag. Let me run the docker run command, and I will be stating that I'm going to run this container in detach mode, and my publish or the connection is going to be between 8000 and 8000, and I'm also providing a name of the repository, which is ustashifu Django App, and the tag latest, which is the default. Let's run this command. Right now my container is run successfully. After running a container, let's first make sure that our application is running. And in order to test that, I'm going to send a request. You can easily send a request like this. As you can see, it returns to HTML template that we have used. So our application is running within the remote server. So in order to access the application, actually you have to use this IP addresses. Let us go to our instance again, and you can simply use this one. But right now it's not going to work. Let me change the port and HTTP. But still, we are not able to see that our application is running. The problem is that we didn't put any kind of rule to make the connection successful. Right now, we are just able to connect to our instance using SSH. I'm going to add a new security rule for that. So just go to your instance and click on the security section. Here, the security group, click on the security group, and here, edit inbound rules. We will be adding a new rule. Add a new rule. It's going to be a custom TCP, and the port is going to be 8000 because we use 8000 for our Django app. And I'm also allowing from 0000, which is what we use while we were running our application. Okay, I saved the rule. Let me now refresh this page, and as you can see right now, using the IP of my instance, I'm able to access to the application